why should students consider doing a summer program? Well, there are a lot of reasons, and there are a lot of potential benefits, and it's important to think about what are the goals. Some students will do summer programs because they want to build a profile for college admissions, and that's fine. But choosing the specific type of summer program should be thought about in a slightly more holistic way. Summer programs are a really great way to accomplish a number of different goals. You could build certain skills. Um, just have fun, because that is a worthwhile thing. You could also explore a career or an academic field. You could advance some sort of research that the student's already been doing. So there are a lot of different things that can be kind of accomplished through doing a summer program. The different ways students can spend their summer really vary, and you can get really creative with this as well. And sometimes the more creative you can be, the more enriching it is for the student. And also you get the side bonus of it. It may also look better for college applications. So there are a couple of traditional pathways, right? The one that is probably most common is the summer program, which is maybe a sleepaway camp or a 3-week program that's focused on business, academic courses. A lot of colleges have summer schools for high school students where they open up college level classes to high school students. Students go live on campus, act like they're in college, and take real classes that they would get a real grade for. And that is the academic program. A lot of students will just take a summer job, whether that is an internship or a regular old part-time job at the grocery store or the mall or something like that. But one of the things I love seeing as well are the independent projects. So a student may decide they're going to teach themselves how to do something, whether that's learn to knit and then make a portfolio of knitting projects. They may want to learn how to paint or play a musical instrument, or maybe it's even more technical than that. They want to learn how to code and build an app by the end of the summer. A lot of students will also kind of creatively seek out mentors, right? They might email a number of professors or professionals in the area or someone in a parents network and figure out a way to be mentored by that person on their project. So the possibilities are sort of endless here. And the way you want to think about this I recommend, is a goal-oriented one. What are the goals? What are the skills or experiences the student wants to gain? And what would be a way to document this growth in a way that you could share on a resume or an eventual college application, right? Instead of thinking about, okay, I want to go to this college, those students are all doing this, I'm going to do that too. Think about it from a more of a ground up kind of way. Given all of these possibilities, how do students choose the program that's right for them, right? A lot of it is going to be based on what you can find. And this year in particular, a lot of programs are still going to be virtual. So you want to consider that. Maybe this year is not the year to try to do hands-on scientific lab research, because those opportunities are going to be quite limited, but maybe that's something you can do next year. And this year, if your student is interested in the sciences, maybe it's the data analysis portion of that kind of research. Or maybe it's more of a volunteer effort as opposed to something that is a paid job, right? Because those, again, are in a little bit shorter supply this summer. Think about how you want to balance your summer between giving students a break from the rigors of school and helping them invest in, the things that are coming up, building those skills, planning ahead. And also, consider that there may be things that they need to do that are not really part of a structured program or an outside summer experience, but they may be things like test prep or writing their college application essays. It's also valuable. This will be the first summer you'll be able to travel after a long year, see relatives after a long year. And so that is, just as important as a student doing some kind of, meaningful summer activity. So you will want to figure out how all these pieces fit together in a way that is reasonable and, not putting too much pressure on the student after a really tough year. Sometimes choosing the opportunity is going to depend on what you can actually find. So there are some great sort of search engines out there to help students identify these programs. A great one is Teen Life. But there are also other types of listings and directories that you can find as well. One that a lot of my students have liked this year is called Pathways to Science. And there are a lot of different opportunities you can search on that. Sometimes you just have to be really creative, either through a Google search, what are you looking for, or through your network, what have other students done in the past or older students done in the past, or even can you create an opportunity by connecting your student to one of your colleagues or someone from your own college or something like that, so they can get a research or internship kind of position. So those will often determine what you actually end up doing, is what's available to you. But if you have multiple options, I would really encourage you to think about, what does your student seem most excited about? That's the place that they're going to put the most energy and effort into, and that's the place they're going to get the most out of. It's not always the best idea to force them into something that they really don't want to do. Of course, you as their parent know best what they need to do, what they really need to work on. And so it may be a bit of a give and take. Maybe they get to do one fun thing and one thing that they need to do, but they don't really want to do. Maybe it's a trade-off compromise. I think it's also important to think about what is a reputable program. Most summer programs are not highly selective in the sense that you have to apply and only 5% get in and things like that. There may be some selectivity in terms of who the program might be full, and so you do need to apply a little bit earlier. And certainly there are some competitive programs out there, so I don't want to pretend that they're not selective in any way. But the value of a summer program is not really in the prestige or how selective it is. It's really about what your student is going to be able to say about their experience, both in terms of how did they actually grow, what did they learn, how did they change, but also could this be fodder for a future college application essay, or is this the start of the exploration of a new career path, or a love for an academic subject that they just didn't have before, right? So those are the things that really matter. So think about that when you're evaluating programs. Also, many of these programs do cost quite a bit of money. And so you need to weigh, what are you getting out of it with what are you paying for? And again, you don't pay for prestige. So if a program is telling you, oh, this is the best program in the country and it's $15,000, maybe question, is it really going to yield the benefits that it's claiming to yield? And think about whether that investment makes sense for your family. How do summer programs play into college applications? It's a really kind of complicated thing, because it's not like if you do this summer program, you're guaranteed to get in here. But you do want to think about this in two ways. One, what is going to be the most meaningful and enriching for your student, for them as a person? Forget college as the goal. Because if you focus on their personal growth, they will be a compelling college applicant. Right? We've got to choose the right colleges to apply to. But if you're really investing in who they are as people, helping them build values, helping them build core skills that are going to benefit them in life, they will be a very good college application or applicant. And that could come through a summer program or not. There are plenty of students who have family responsibilities over the summer. They've got to take care of a younger sibling or cousin or something like that, and they can't get a job, or they can't do a summer program where they travel away from home or something like that. But there's a lot that can be very meaningful and enriching in taking care of a family member. And that can also show up on a college application and really does reflect well on a student in terms of their maturity and their engagement with the situation around them. So, don't feel like you have to do a summer program. You should do something with a student summer if they have the time. And really what this is about is colleges trying to understand how students want to choose to spend their free time. What are they so interested in that they choose to do extra academic programs in? Or what skills have they decided are important for them to develop that may benefit them in college. It's sort of the same as how we think about choosing extracurricular activities. It's not that certain extracurricular activities or clubs are going to get a student in, but it's representative of what the student likes to do outside of school, and that in that way kind of fills out the picture of who this student is. So that's really kind of the role that summer programs do play. And I think it's important enough to note here, I get this question all the time, just because the student did the Summer at Brown academic program does not mean they have a leg up in Brown admissions. They may know Brown well because they spent a summer there, or they may know certain professors well, and maybe that relationship, if the professor is extremely impressed with them, or they were able to do some turn that into some advanced research, that may be a thing that helps them. But it would help them at any school, not just at that particular school where they did the summer program. Signet can support these conversations and the kind of thinking around how to plan an interesting and productive summer through a number of ways. So we have admissions consultants on staff who are former admissions officers at top schools all around the country, and they have a great idea of what students did that impressed them in the admissions process, or that they thought was really so interesting that they still remember it. And so some ideas can come out of that. But what we do with students when we work with them on admissions is we do help them figure out what are their priorities, what are their values, what are the skills and experiences they want to gain. And then we can make suggestions about how they can do that. So we can certainly coach them through that. The other way we can do that is through coaching. So academic coaching is a service we offer where we really pair students with a one-on-one mentor to help them think through their vision for themselves and then plan out the steps to accomplish that vision and then support them in their journey towards that vision. So that's a great place where a coach can come in to say, okay, here's who you are now. Let's explore that. What do you think you want to change or improve or explore and add something new to this profile of who you are? And how might you do that? And coaching is an especially empowering experience because we really want the student to do all the work and all the thinking, and we're just there to provide a framework and some guardrails for that thinking. So we can make suggestions, but really the value comes when a student can get a clear picture of who they want to be in 3 months. And they're not going to change themselves entirely, but there may be something they want to change. And we can help them problem solve and think about what kind of experiences might help you do that. And then help them, identify the programs. And if there are applications, we can also help support with that.